I'm not dependent on punch power, you know. You know what, it takes a lot more than that to be a great fighter. A lot more than that to be a great fighter, so there's various ways I'll win. But I got the fighter spirit, and that's how I'll go in there and break him down with my spirit.
After this.
But he can't though. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not even equipped to fight this dude. He's not. It's going to have to be a bunch of stuff in there. Joshua will punish this man.
It's impossible for somebody like Anthony Joshua, who is so big and so strong, to even think he's going to take it easy. Because even if he tries to take it easy, he's so powerful, so strong that even those punches that are being easy are still going to hurt.
Anthony Joshua warned Jake Paul during the press conference, saying Jake is being delusional for thinking he can beat him. Joshua reportedly added that he's taking this fight mainly for the money and sees it as a business move. He made it clear that once they're in the ring, he is the far superior fighter.
I deliver what I was supposed to deliver years ago. I deliver what they ran from. I deliver what he asked for $50 million for. I'm going to give him a $50 million knockout.
I honestly listen to what people say sometimes. They're avoided, this person's running. I honestly think some people are deluded. Really, I do think that they've got some sort of a long-term concussion, because no one's running. In terms of 50 million, I'm a businessman. If there was 50 million on the table.
Chris Algieri explained that this fight gives Anthony Joshua the perfect chance to get back in the ring. After being inactive since his last loss, Joshua can use this matchup to rebuild his confidence and regain his rhythm. Algieri said the fight lets Joshua earn a big payday while facing very little risk, almost like a controlled sparring session. He pointed out that Joshua benefits financially, mentally, and physically, making this fight a smart choice for his comeback.
What are we talking here? Like, it's going to be an exhibition? No, it's a fight. You're a heavyweight. You're calling out heavyweights. You're calling out a heavyweight. You're calling out Anthony Joshua, former world champion. You're calling him out on short notice. It's a fight. You're going to wear 10-ounce gloves and you're going to fight 10 rounds, and that's what it is. I don't understand any idea of anything else. Oh, it's going to be 8-2s. Is it going to be 15-ounce gloves? What the hell are we doing? This is boxing. You want to fight a real guy? You're fighting a real guy, which I am very respectful. And I respect the hell out of Jake Paul if he does step in the ring with Anthony Joshua. No matter what happens, kid's got balls of steel, and I applaud you.
Well, the reason I say we don't know yet, because Jake Paul has fought in his last fight with Gervonta Davis was going to be an exhibition. They had to do that because of the weight difference. This is still a weight difference here. I mean, Anthony.
No, there's not. No, it's not. It's heavyweight. It's the same weight class.
Well, what do you consider Jake Paul? Cruiserweight or heavyweight?
Heavyweight. How much did he weigh his last fight?
He's fought at cruiserweight. He's also fought at heavyweight. Against Tyson was at heavyweight. What
was his last fight? He's a cruiser. He's a heavyweight.
What was his last fight? His last fight was at cruiser against Chavez. Whatever, you know what I mean. Like the reason Gervonta Davis fight.
He fought Chavez after Tyson. I guess Tyson was that long ago. Wow.
Yeah, it was a year ago. This week, I was looking at my Instagram memories. I was in Dallas, Texas, getting ready for me pooping my pants on Netflix. That was about a year ago. Exhibition. These are questions that are asked. These are questions that are attached.
Eddie Hearn says Anthony Joshua is interested in fighting Jake Paul, but the team needs to be careful because Paul is unpredictable. He explains that Jake has a history of agreeing to fights and then canceling or delaying them, which makes it hard to plan properly. Because of this, Joshua's camp is staying ready for any sudden changes while still training and preparing. Hearn adds that if Paul is serious, the fight could give Joshua one of the biggest paydays of his career. However, he stresses that they must stay smart, avoid unnecessary distractions, and protect Joshua's long-term career. Hearn's point is clear. The fight could be huge, but managing Jake Paul's unpredictability requires patience and careful planning.
Jake Paul news seemed to come to a surprise for many. How close are we to making that fight, Eddie?
Not that close. I mean, there are conversations. There's a lot of hurdles to overcome. But if he's serious about the fight, and if it can get made, there's a very good chance we'll do it.
Is it on Netflix, and what did DAZN have to say of the fact that it made?
One of the hurdles to overcome. But we were going to have an 8-round run out in December. Just so happens it might be against Jake Paul.
Have you spoke to Nikisa? I know you're not friends with him. What are the conversations you've had?
That's who we're talking about, you know. And if they're serious and if it's real, there's a good chance. But listen, we could wake up tomorrow and he's announced another opponent and he just used AJ's name for clout. Listen, I have to respect him if he takes the if he takes the fight, but who knows?
What do you think Dana White will make of this fight?
I mean, he did Mayweather against McGregor. He doesn't like Jake Paul. I really couldn't care less what he thinks about the fight. AJ's going to make close to or around a career high payday, and will take every single...
Paulie Malignaggi says Anthony Joshua will take the fight seriously, even if it's labeled as an exhibition. He explains that Joshua has never underestimated any opponent in his career, and once he steps into the ring, he brings full focus, power, and technical skill. Malignaggi also points out that Joshua's discipline, timing, and ring IQ allow him to spot openings and punish mistakes easily. Ryan Garcia agrees, saying that even if Joshua tries to hold back, his natural strength and accuracy still make his punches extremely dangerous. Both analysts believe Jake Paul is facing a real physical threat, and the fight should not be taken lightly just because it's promoted as entertainment. They emphasize that Joshua's experience against top heavyweights gives him the ability to control distance, pace, and momentum. This means Jake Paul will need strong strategy and real toughness to survive, as Joshua's skill and power create a high-risk situation where even one mistake could have serious consequences. The overall message is clear. Both fighters must treat this matchup with respect and real preparation.
Out of the bag now. And if you listen to this, it's definitely out of the bag.
Yeah, Fight for 84, big boxing movie that's hitting Netflix soon about the Olympic 84 team starring Jamie Foxx and Chris Algieri.
I am not starring in anything, but whatever. Yeah, no, I got a credit. I'm in it. I got some lines. So
that's amazing. That is so cool. I mean, this couldn't get any cooler. You're now in the movie, which is absolutely absurd.
Yeah,
what a day.
Hopefully,
what a life.
Hopefully, maybe there'll be more of this. Who knows?
I think it's just the beginning. I think this podcast is numbered. Our days are numbered.
No way. I'm never letting this go, Dan. This is. I'm a ride or die.
I hope you get so big and become such a big actor that you are like delaying production because you have to film our podcast in your trailer.
Chris is in his trailer. Wait, he's got to finish his podcast with Dan.
They're like, who's Dan? Johnny Drama style.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, just
when he was on the set
total
for
diva.
Pounds.
Just total diva in every way possible.
Yes, like we said, this episode is brought to you by ppv.com. December 6th, we're going to see Pitbull Cruz versus Lamont Roach. And guess what? We're going to talk to Lamont Roach on this episode. I caught up with Lamont and to get his thoughts on the fight with Pitbull, to get his thoughts on Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, which we're going to get to in a second, to get his thoughts on 140, potentially fighting at 135. That's coming up in just a little bit with Lamont Roach. Don't forget to order that fight with us at ppv.com and all the good stuff that comes along with that. That's December 6th. Lamont Roach is an awesome interview. Great guy.
Awesome guy. Forget the interview. He's just a good dude. I told you to tell him what's up. You probably did.
He said what's up. He goes, where is he? I said, he's on a movie set. He goes, oh, yeah. He's got those movie star looks.
See, that's what I get. But yeah, no, he's a good dude. We see him. He trains down in Florida now. He's over at the Pro Box TV training facility, so we get to see him down there training. He's whipping on all the guys over there. But good people, good dude. Good. His dad's awesome. His brother Jordan's great. He's another one to look out for. I think is he a flyweight? I think he's a flyweight coming up, or a bantamweight. But yeah, great family, good boxing family, great boxing heritage.
Yeah, and I can't wait for that mega card. Big card December 6th, and he's the headliner. So we're going to get to him in a second. Some big news broke. Shocking news. According to Ring Magazine, Anthony Joshua is going to step in for Gervonta Davis and fight Jake Paul. We don't know yet if it's an exhibition. We don't know yet the rules set. We don't know the date. These are preliminary talks that are ongoing. Yes, I work for MVP.
Dave Allen pushes back against the idea that Anthony Joshua should avoid fighting Jake Paul just because the matchup looks unconventional or entertainment-driven. Allen argues that Joshua is still in peak physical form, unlike retired fighters who lose speed and power. Joshua remains explosive, disciplined, and fully equipped to dominate any opponent. He warns that many fans underestimate the seriousness of these kinds of fights, treating them like spectacles rather than real competition. But the reality, Allen says, is that Joshua's athleticism, strength, and elite skill level make him a dangerous challenge for anyone who steps into the ring. Allen stresses that this fight isn't only about showmanship. Joshua's preparation, experience, and sheer physical presence mean he can control the pace and impose his will at any moment. He also highlights the gap between public perception and reality, reminding casual viewers that Jake Paul faces very real risks. In short, the matchup demands respect, focus, and a clear understanding of Joshua's world-class boxing abilities, hype or no hype.
Of it was probably shouldn't be licensed, but Florida are very kind of easy commission to get. Yeah, it'll be called an exhibition.
It will be an exhibition.
It probably will be called an exhibition.
What's the point?
For me, as long as that fight you mentioned just now, Spencer, as long as that roadmap is there and it's signed, that he fights an interim guy as a warm-up afterwards and fights Tyson Fury next year, and Fury's on board, I'm great with it. Otherwise, I do think his legacy's damaged if his last fight is with Jake Paul.
An exhibition is a waste of time. They're for retired fighters. For retired fighters, it's a load of rubbish.
Yeah, listen, the guy's still in his athletic prime. I personally don't see the reason why they can't just do the Tyson Fury fight. Why do we need interims?
Well, we all want that.
Yeah, but why do we need interims? Why do we need warm-ups? We're talking about two experienced guys who've been the best, as you just said, of the last 10, 20 years. Let's get the fight on.
It's as ridiculous as Gervonta Davis going in with him, basically, isn't it, with Jake Paul, frankly?
Those different mindsets. And what, again, listening to Eddie today and what he was saying, the damage that Anthony Joshua suffered mentally, not physically, because physically he's still all there, but mentally against Daniel Dubois, he needs to go through that process again. And they said, and that's just the whole getting your hands wrapped up, doing it, whether it's Jake Paul, whether it's a top 100 fighter, you go, that's the way Anthony Joshua ticks. He needs that before going into the... All roads lead to Fury, right? We all know that.
Analysts point out that Jake Paul is finally stepping into a fight against someone much closer to his level in terms of active competition, unlike the older or retired opponents he has faced in the past. While this makes the matchup more intriguing and gives fans the challenge they've been waiting for, it also raises the physical risks for Paul. Commentators emphasize that health and safety remain major concerns, as Anthony Joshua's power, skill, and experience are far beyond anything Paul has encountered. The matchup may be competitive on paper, but it carries serious potential consequences inside the ring.
Maybe even bigger than the Mike Tyson fight. It's hard to say, really. Tyson was a big name, but it's going to do numbers regardless, because Joshua is a big name, and then people are going to be tuning in to see Jake Paul get knocked out. Right now, Eddie Hearn talks about Jake Paul taking this Joshua fight.
I mean, my estimations of Jake Paul would go through the roof if he signs to fight Anthony Joshua, because I just can't believe in my mind that he would do something like that. I mean, Gervonta was a smart one because of his size. Like, you know, I think actually he would have had a lot of success against Jake Paul, but the size is a problem. But this would just be, you know, like if Jake Paul was to take the fight with AJ, you'd really have to maybe carry his balls in a wheelbarrow on the ring walk, you know, because AJ wouldn't mess around in there, you know. So it would be huge, but nothing, you know, to tell you it's close. Just a few conversations so far.
Damn right, if Jake Paul takes this fight, he's got some major balls on him. And I know people hate influencer boxing, but come on, he's not fighting an old, retired, past the prime MMA fighter. No, he's fighting a legit boxer who's massive, 6'5", 6'6", jacked, 240, 250 pounds, shredded, power puncher. Do we need to remind ourselves of what Joshua did to Francis Ngannou? Francis Ngannou was coming off a pretty good performance over Tyson Fury. He didn't get the win in that fight, but you could argue that he did actually win that fight. And Ngannou, throughout his entire MMA career, in 4-ounce gloves, very rarely got hit. He could take a punch. He's got a big, fat African head. Big, thick neck, traps, back. He just can't really be hit. And look what Joshua did to Ngannou. Out cold. So what do you think Joshua is going to do to Jake Paul? Jake Paul better start loading up on that Trenbolone. He needs to start eating Anavar like Skittles.
Analysts emphasize that Anthony Joshua's credentials as an Olympic gold medalist and former heavyweight champion make him a dangerously serious opponent under any circumstances. They highlight that his blend of technical skill, power, and high-level experience puts him in a completely different category from anyone Jake Paul has previously faced. Joshua's ability to read opponents, adapt his strategy mid-fight, and deliver precise, punishing shots means that even the smallest mistake from Paul could be quickly and severely exploited.
Olympic gold medalist, unified champion at the heavyweight division. He is 6'6", 250 pounds. And also, I do think.
Oh my God!
I do. Jake Paul 6'1" and about 220. I want to say this though. I think Anthony Joshua, he's made stupid money in his career, dumb money in his career. I don't think he's going to be in a position to be accepting BS terms with Jake Paul if this is really what's going to end up happening. I think we're actually. I think we're actually going to get to see Jake Paul against a former heavyweight champion of the world. Do I think that's a smart idea? Absolutely not. For Jake Paul, do I think it would sell? Absolutely. Do I think it'd be very interesting and people would tune in to see if he gets his head knocked off? Absolutely. I genuinely, I hate to say it.
Experts note that this fight is far from casual. It demands complete focus, thorough preparation, and full respect for Joshua's capabilities. Analysts also point to Joshua's physical advantages, his reach, strength, and elite conditioning, which give him a clear edge in controlling the pace and range of the fight. While Paul remains confident, he is stepping into a ring where underestimating a former world champion could have serious consequences. Commentary emphasizes that Joshua's battles against top-tier heavyweights have sharpened his time, defensive awareness, and ring IQ, allowing him to dominate even when facing opponents with unconventional style. The discussion underscores that this matchup is a true test of Paul's abilities, and Joshua's elite status ensures that the fight will be both highly competitive and strategically demanding.
He probably sees what Alexander Usyk, who's now the undisputed, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time now after beating all these guys. He was a smaller guy. Went up, he's like 6'2", 6'3", about 200 pounds at first. Now he's probably sitting at about 220, 230. Similar size to Jake Paul. Yeah. Went up and beat all these guys. Granted, Usyk, greatest amateur boxer at that weight class ever. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be interesting, but I do think Jake Paul is in a good position.
The only fear is this.
I hate to give him credit.
If Jake Paul gets his block knocked off completely.
Yeah, very possible.
The Jake Paul experiment is over. It's a wrap. Because if you step into the ring, everybody thus far is wondering and has wondered, like, what would happen versus a legitimate boxer?
Yeah.
And in their relative shape. Not a 50-year-old Floyd.
Yeah.
Not a 60-year-old Mike. We've all asked ourselves, well, what happens if you fight a real fighter? The problem is, once you fight a real fighter and you get beat down, the hypothesis is gone. So now we don't need to wait to see the experiment. Y'all know what we do every year. We say the best college team could beat the worst NFL team.
Yeah,
and it's
nasty.
A fun debate.
Yeah.
Because if you don't really know ball, if you don't really know ball, though, you'll be like, man, but if 10 players on Georgia would start for the Cleveland Browns right now. But if they actually...
Ad Oladipo highlights that this fight is one of the biggest in recent memory, attracting massive attention from fans and media alike. He notes that Anthony Joshua's status as a former heavyweight champion and Olympic gold medalist adds credibility and excitement, creating a matchup highly anticipated around the world. Fans are eager to see action-packed moments and the potential for a knockout, which heightens the fight's intensity and spectacle. Oladipo emphasizes that Joshua's skill, experience, and power make him a serious threat, ensuring the bout is treated with respect rather than just as entertainment. Combined with Jake Paul's popularity, the matchup has generated massive interest, making it a major talking point across both boxing communities and mainstream audiences. The anticipation, media coverage, and fan discussion underline just how significant this clash has become.
And this is, for Jake Paul, a much bigger fight than fighting Gervonta Davis. And I mean bigger, not just in the sense of who he's fighting and the size of AJ. I mean bigger in terms of numbers. Like Jake Paul versus AJ does way bigger numbers for me than Gervonta versus AJ. I think this actually does bigger numbers than Terence Crawford versus Canelo. I really do. I think this is, again, if it makes money, it makes sense. Let's talk about the negativity. And look, I get it. Like, if you're like me, I still believe, and look, some might say, well, AJ's just going to pick up, who knows what the numbers are, 80, 100 million, right? And then continue on his trajectory or career to potentially become a world champion again. I don't like this pause, if this is just me. I still believe that AJ can do damage in the heavyweight division. I believe that. Again, some people are like, no, he's done. Okay, cool. I believe that AJ can do damage again. I look at the heavyweight division and I remove Alexander Usyk from it and I'm like, AJ can beat a lot of those guys. So I like the idea of AJ staying busy and having real fights against real heavyweights. So I'm not a fan of this pause, especially considering that we've not seen AJ in the ring since September 2024. It's a long time. It's a long, long time. So if AJ has this fight, we're not going to see AJ in the ring properly until the spring. It's a long long time. If AJ was busy, and then had this fight in between, I guess I wouldn't be too mad with it. I get it, right? If someone knocks on your door and says, do you want to fight Jake Paul for 100 million? You're like, you'd be stupid to say no. No, I don't want that 100 million for what would be and will be and should be easy